Hi, my name's Erica Mikuchi, and welcome to my final vlog number 12 for IAH 207. And first I want to start by talking about the Grand Fury images. So these were primary sources, obviously, and I think that the addition of kind of looking at primary sources really puts the whole event into perspective. And as I was looking at them, it kind of made me think about how they protested then in comparison to how we protest today, and how a lot of things haven't really changed. Like things like the kiss-ins, like the different artwork and stuff. Like, for example, the Women's March was a very recent event, and that's pretty similar to some of the events that took place or that were advertised in the posters. So I thought that was interesting, and I kind of connected it to present day. But another way I kind of realized that it was different than present day is today we have social media and like a lot of activism and stuff, and word gets spread through social media. And so I thought that that was a really cool contrast, and that's kind of what I got out of those images. And as I was reading the article that went along with these images, it talks a lot about the silence equals death logo graphic, and I think that that's interesting that that's kind of stuck around till today. Like, I still sometimes see people put that on their laptops and pins on their backpacks and stuff. So I think it's really interesting how stuff from that era like has stuck around so long that people are still using it to like spread their messages and kind of like focus on things. And I like how toward the end of the reading it talks about how like the fight for AIDS is never really over, and that it's important to keep like logos and stuff like this around so we can remember that people are still suffering from AIDS, and that the AIDS epidemic totally did happen, and we don't want to forget about that either and take it out of history. And so I thought that was really cool, and that's kind of what I got out of the reading and the viewing. So in viewing the artwork that goes along with Close to the Knives, I thought it was really interesting that a lot of his work was photos, because as you may remember, one of the chapters in Close to the Knives includes, and I'm going to talk about this a little more, but it includes a lot of talk about photography and how that medium is really important to him. And so I really like that we get to kind of read about why that medium is important to him and then look at the art and view it. And something I noticed was kind of the use of like human bodies or the human form. That kind of work was definitely more taboo back when he was releasing that kind of art. So I'm really glad that it didn't get like taken down and it's still like able for us to view today, because a lot of that stuff people's friends and family like destroyed it. This reminded me of the part in the book where it was the author's note, and he was talking about Dakota and how he wanted to use some of Dakota's letters and some of Dakota's work, and how Dakota's parents actually destroyed like all of his life's work, all of his art and stuff. And so I'm really glad that that didn't happen to this set of artwork, because I think it's really impactful to read the portion about the cameras in the book and then also to pair it with the viewings of the pictures. And something additional I also noticed when viewing the artwork that goes along with the book is that the cover for the book, which looks like this, is actually a picture that he took. This is his artwork on the cover. It's not something that he like either like bought the rights to or something. This is his actual artwork. And so I kind of am wondering what he's trying to convey by this image. I know there won't be another vlog, so no one will be able to let me know, but I'm just kind of trying to figure out what this imagery means. Maybe like when you're young, you're starting at the top, and then as the epidemic or as he got older, you kind of like stumbled along, just kind of how he talked about his sexual experiences. This is kind of how I started at the top and everything was going well, and then everything kind of fell like that. So I'm not really sure what the cover means, but it's kind of some speculation on it, and I think it's really cool that that's his own artwork on the cover. So in talking about those photographs, I want to transition into the end of Close to the Knives. And before I kind of get started with my main claim, I want to talk about what I thought at the end of the book. So as a whole, I really liked how this book started off more broad and general, and then really he moved in toward the end, more talking about government and like AIDS, because toward the beginning of the book, he didn't even really mention AIDS in the first maybe 40 pages. It was seldom mentioned, and then he kind of gets more pinpointed as he goes on, and I like that kind of funnel approach that kind of at the end leaves you with this main point, and he's building up to it the whole book. So I really like it, and I really thought this was an interesting reading that really went well with the course. So when it comes to photography, this is something really near and dear to my heart, because I do consider myself a photographer, and I spend a lot of time in the darkroom working on my art. And so I thought that this section about photography, I believe it was in the chapter Do Not Doubt the Dangers of the 12-Inch Politician, really stuck out to me because I am into cameras and photography. And so the message I think that the author was trying to portray in this portion is that a camera, or rather the act of taking a photograph, can give you political and social power, and it helps you to convey your message in a way that you might not otherwise be able to get it out to the public. Because he talks about in this section how he uses the medium of photography to convey messages that would not otherwise be able to put in papers. Because he says on page 143, I can speak with photographs about many different things that the newspaper owner is afraid to address because of agenda or political pressure or because of power of advertiser dollars. I can make photographs dealing with my sexuality, and I do, because I know my sexuality is purposefully made invisible by the owners of various media. So I think that that's really cool that he's using that as kind of a power form to get around the social norms or things that they won't let him put in the newspaper. And I thought that was really cool, and it kind of shows the power of photography as a medium. And the author really kind of talks about how a photo can make history. It can preserve history, because on page 144 he says, "A camera in some hands can preserve an alternate history." And I think what he means by that is that some people who wouldn't ordinarily get their story told but have an old camera and a roll of film can document real events like that, and can get their story out there that way. Or maybe someone will find that film in a long time and develop it and kind of see things from a different perspective. And so I thought that that was really cool. The images coupling with the part about photography, it really made me think about kind of his intent behind the photographs or what he was trying to say by it. So lastly, I want to address Elsie Liu's vlog number 11. I've been watching her vlogs actually for a while, and she's been doing a really good job this whole class. So good job, Elsie. You've been doing a great job. But I wanted to kind of talk about what she said. So in her reaction to the podcast and the readings and the viewings, she basically said that the message she got out of it was that no matter how dark it gets, there's always some way to find a light. And I really I found that kind of message in there too. And in one of my previous vlogs, I actually talked about that same kind of thesis statement or topic in regards to Angels in America. You know, when the nurse has Lou pray over the bed, or when the nurse gives Roy advice even though Roy's super mean to him. I think that that is really important, and I kind of related to that too. And so I kind of wanted to point out how I had also mentioned that in my previous blog, and I think that that's really cool what she pulled from it. And I think that that's kind of what like all the pieces kind of say as a collective, because in each little piece there's always some little nugget of hope or something that people are doing right in the situation. So yeah, have a great rest of your summer, and thank you for watching my final vlog.